Coming up on LA This Week.
My kids go to school every day, get their meals, and we're not able to. We depend on those meals. The Dream Center is really helping out with that too.
The City of Los Angeles asked the Salvation Army to come in and help them with some of these pop-up emergency homeless shelters in response to the COVID-19 virus.
Hey, another big murder case that you did 5 years ago, I think you got it wrong. But it is the obligation of the prosecution to make sure justice is done.
Hey everyone, I'm Saida Pagan. Here's what's happening in LA this week. Channel 35 and the City of LA are here to keep you up to date on the latest developments on coronavirus. Mayor Eric Garcetti is holding daily briefings with the latest information for all Angelenos. Video streams are available at lacityview.org/live, as well as on facebook.com/mayor of LA. On the internet, the best resources are publichealth.lacounty.gov and coronavirus.lacity.org. Stay informed. Sign up for Notify LA to receive emergency alerts. It's easy. Text your zip code to 888-777 to sign up. Find out more at emergency.lacity.org. With life turned upside down for most Los Angeles families, the biggest and most costly disruption to daily life has become mealtime. Thousands of residents depend on assistance from food pantries and school districts, many of which have been closed due to COVID-19. But dozens of other food resources are stepping up to fulfill the need. Here's a look at what they are doing over at the Dream Center in Hollywood.
From 6:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night, we started serving everybody here in Los Angeles that needed a hot meal. And so we're just being consistent for 11 straight hours. We're trying to be consistent by feeding the city of Los Angeles, just becoming the calm and the chaos that's going on in our city right now. A lot of people don't know where their next $100 or $200 is going to come from. So we just want to partner with the city of Los Angeles and as Angelenos just come together and give these people a hot meal and give them a little comfort right now.
It's really important because right now we're not working and we don't really want to go out to supermarkets. So this is very important.
Right now we're at 1,500 hot meals a day through our kitchen, and so anybody can come night or day, 7 days a week to get a hot meal.
My kids go to school every day, get their meals, and we're not able to, so we depend on those meals. The Dream Center is really helping out with that.
Currently we're scheduled to sustain this until May 1st, which right now is where LEOSD hopefully will go back to school around that time, so we're going to try to sustain it till then.
Mayor Garcetti announced the opening of emergency shelters citywide for people experiencing homelessness amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. 13 recreation centers have been converted into emergency shelters. Together with the Salvation Army, the Department of Recreation and Parks made swift work of preparing a safer place to stay, if only for a little while.
We're here at the Westwood Community Center, and over the last 48 hours, the City of Los Angeles and LAHSA, the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, asked the Salvation Army to come in and help them with some of these pop-up emergency homeless shelters in response to the COVID-19 virus. It's kind of what the Salvation Army does whenever there's a need, and we've been doing this a long time. And we were happy to go side by side with the City of Los Angeles and do what we can to really meet a very, very urgent need, which is the homeless population, which is also at threat with this virus. the police departments and other social service agencies are canvassing neighborhoods to tell people on the street that this facility exists, it's waiting for them, and there's a safe environment for them to be here and a place for them to be warm, to be fed, and to get medical attention if they need it. This is just one part of what the Salvation Army is doing all over Southern California now. We're feeding thousands of people every day. One of our food banks, just one, and we have more than 40. They usually serve 60 families a week. They're doing 100 families a day. And what's happening is our supplies are flying out of our pantries. So please, if people can donate to the Salvation Army, they can go to salvationarmysocal.org, donate today, and the money that they'll be donating will turn into food and turn into hope for people at this time.
During this COVID-19 outbreak, enough cannot be said about the risk this disease poses for our seniors. The Department of Aging talked with Gil Reyes about the essential practice of social distancing.
Older adults and people who have severe chronic medical conditions like heart, lung, or kidney disease or diabetes may be at higher risk for severe illness from COVID-19.
People have been advised to practice social distancing, which means to stay at least 6 feet apart.
We can all help stop the spread by keeping our distance. This means do not shake hands or exchange physical greetings, and wherever possible, stay at least 1.5 meters away from others.
What exactly does social distancing mean?
Staying out of areas of more than 50 or more people, but again for older adults, 10 or more people, keeping at least 6 feet distance between people. But for older adults, we just recommend them to stay at home and avoid non-essential travel as much as possible.
We've already let our folks know that we are not doing presentations or having gatherings of older adults at any of our senior centers or at our building.
Social distancing is important, and that's why staying at home is important.
What can older adults do to prevent social isolation during this time of crisis?
We are currently, exploring different ways to still be connected to our older adults. Mm-hmm. So one of the ways is through our social media platforms. Mm-hmm. So through, we have our Facebook page, we have our YouTube channel, as well as Twitter.
We are working tirelessly in our office every day to make sure that these things are up and running for them.
Most of us know to call 911 in an emergency. But what if it's not an emergency? What about potholes, noisy neighbors? What if you're thinking of adopting from a city animal shelter? Who do you call when you just need help with stuff like that? Well, Gil Reyes hunted down the answer to that very question.
Who are you going to call to report pesky potholes, unsightly graffiti, and other problems plaguing our city? You contact the city's 311 Service Center. We take a look at this vital city agency on National 311 Day.
Yep, there's actually a day in March honoring these dedicated operators, answering all types of non-emergency service calls.
Things like potholes, illegal dumping, trash collection, street lights.
Donna Arachia is director of LA City's 311 call center. Operators in downtown Los Angeles handle 1.5 million service calls a year.
We've got a total of 50 employees, including supervisors and call takers. We can take calls here in the call center in English and Spanish, and we have access to 150 other languages.
I'm looking for a dog, but I want to know, I'm trying to adopt.
For dogs, adoption fee is $150. That includes vaccinations, the spay neutering of the dog, microchipping him, The ones I like most are when I get the senior citizens that call and didn't know about the MPC centers, the senior centers, and the services it can provide. They didn't know they have a meal program. They didn't know that there's a handyman program. They didn't know about all the options there. And when you give them that contact phone number, they're very pleased about that.
Of course, not every call is pleasant. Complaints about potholes, damaging cars after it rains, and employees at businesses near Chinatown fed up with graffiti.
There's been cases where you just don't know why they're going off on you, but they are. They're very angry, they're very hostile, and just to keep a mindset that you have no idea what this person is going through.
Report problems by calling 311 or through the MyLA 311 app on your smartphone. 35% of requests are now submitted through the app, and the service is free.
The new LA Jobs Portal keeps residents working. Mayor Garcetti introduces microloans for small businesses, and the Department of Cultural Affairs keeps you entertained. All this next on City Beat.
The City of Los Angeles has introduced LAJobsPortal.org to help Angelenos who have lost their jobs or have had their hours cut back as a result of COVID-19. The portal is designed to aid people in finding help and jobs while adhering to the safer-at-home orders. This site will be continuously updated with resources from the city, state, and the federal government. Visit LAJobsPortal.org for more details. Mayor Eric Garcetti announced an $11 million economic relief package for small businesses impacted by COVID-19. The microloan program is being paired with a small business resilience toolkit. It includes vital information covering federal, state, county, and city emergency policies and programs impacting small businesses. To apply for a microloan or to view the toolkit, please visit lamayor.org/loan. For information on business assistant efforts, visit ewddlacity.com. Already, residents are looking for interesting things to do during the stay safe, stay home stage of the city's response to COVID-19. Well, the Department of Cultural Affairs has answered the call. The DCA has launched a new webpage listing dozens of educational resources and activities, from nonprofit resources to art experiences to mental health resources. Head on over to culturela.org and select the tab COVID-19 Resources for Artists and the General Public.
Now we'd like to take a look back at some truly terrific events that happened in Los Angeles a few weeks before the onset of COVID-19. We didn't want you to miss out on hearing about these great events.
Outfest Fusion has always been incredibly special for the community, but for me, it's definitely a little bit closer to home. I've always been looking a little bit more deeply into what's needed for the modern artist and storyteller of color. It's about opportunity, visibility, but also access.
The subject of the film, obviously, is these two gay Muslim men, and so that is already a venue that, a story that is not often told, because the fest is about diversity and about inclusion.
20 years ago, when I wrote, directed, and produced the film, people said, great film, but you don't look like a director. So I'm so happy that 20 years later, one, the film holds up, and two, that there are a whole lot of people looking like me and more who are actually directors in this industry.
Multicultural, multinational, and POC are coming from all corners of the world, and those are touching lives from every single inch of not only America, but I think humanity.
You know, when you put the mirror in their face and you say, hey, your values are to be inclusive, but your behavior is segregation, discrimination, they want to fix it.
Respectability is a nonprofit organization that fights stigmas and advances opportunities so people with disabilities can participate fully in the community. 1 out of every 5 people has a physical, sensory, cognitive, or mental health disability. 1 out of every 5 So that means they have a barrier to everyday living. But they also might be the most talented people in all of Los Angeles or the world. Think about Greta Thunberg. Greta is a 17-year-old climate change activist with autism. Think about Thomas Edison and all of his inventions. He was deaf. Think about this massive company, Ernst & Young. Young was deaf. Nobody would hire him because he had a disability, and so he has hired, and that company has now hired thousands and thousands of people with disabilities, and they bring value added.
Their bottom line indicators were substantially improved. So we know that it's good business to include these talents, and we know that people are ready to work, and we know that, frankly, it changes the fabric of society, because when people with disabilities become talent that you are looking to rather than folks that you're looking to take care of, you go from being a tax receiver to a taxpayer. To me, I look at it as a challenge, right? I say, so what I really need to do is find that person that will give me a great chance. And for me, it was the Procter & Gamble company some 15, 16 years ago said, come to our legal department, we think you'll do great. And then it's my job to turn around and not just come to the legal department, but blow them away.
Unfortunately, in California this year, people with disabilities lost a lot of jobs. And it's really important for employers to give people that opportunity.
What we see is that while the labor force participation for Angelenos in general hovers just over 70%, the labor force participation for Angelenos with disabilities hovers just over 35%.
People want you to have work experience to get hired, but no one will hire you. And so what do? When you're stuck, the only way to get unstuck is to take initiative and move forward. And I think that Respectability is doing an excellent job of getting partners across the public, private, and nonprofit sectors to really come together we all have to make the changes that we need by learning from each other.
We're fighting stigmas and we're advancing opportunity so those people with disabilities can achieve their dreams and impact the community just like anyone else.
I had the opportunity to speak with Justin Brooks, the director of the California Innocence Project, and the fascinating work he's doing. Welcome, Justin, and thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Oh, well, I am so excited to speak with you. There's so much to talk about. The California Innocence Project started a little over 20 years ago.
So when I first came to California 21 years ago, the LA Times did an editorial saying, welcome Justin Brooks to California. He's going to start this thing called the California Innocence Project. And the mail has not stopped. So I receive about 5,000 to 7,000 letters a year of people asking for my help.
I was on my way to USC on a full scholarship to play football, but all of that was halted when I was wrongfully accused of rape.
The story of Brian Banks was so important to me, and that's why we pushed to have it made into a feature film.
Brian Banks was 16 years old when he was accused of a crime he did not commit. He lost 11 years. Scholarship. He was prevented from playing football. The system is broken.
The statement by the alleged victim was false.
So they just based it on her statement completely.
Absolutely.
We believed the recantations of the witness. We do not believe Mr. Banks did the crime that he pled guilty to, and therefore justice has been served.
We found that 17% of DNA exonerations, people had confessed to the crime that they were convicted of. And it definitively showed that innocent people sometimes confess. And I've looked at a lot of these cases, and sometimes it's as simple as you've been interrogated for 13, 14 hours, you're tired of it, and you just say, okay, I did it. What do you need me to sign? And they're just angry, and they sign it.
Such a shame.
And they're thinking, you're not going to convict me of this because I didn't do it. And now that person goes to prison for the rest of their life. That's very, very common.
Let's talk about wrongful convictions. What are some of the causes of wrongful convictions?
The leading cause at trial for wrongful convictions was bad identifications. And we found out that people are not good at making IDs, yet jurors treat that as very powerful evidence. When someone walks in court and says, I'm 100% sure that's the person who did it, that's enough to get you convicted. But when you look at the science behind IDs, there's so many problems. For example, almost half the people I've walked out of prison were convicted on a cross-racial identification. That is a huge problem in Southern California because we have every type of race, and it's always a Mexican person IDing a white person, a black person, a black person, a white person. And our ability to identify faces is formed in the first 5 years of our life. And if everyone in your family is the same race, you actually, for the rest of your life, will have difficulty identifying other races. And there's all scientific studies about this.
The California Innocence Project is important because it embodies what it means to be a human being, what it means to have compassion for other people.
On a personal level, how do you take all this in? Because I can only imagine how difficult it is.
I don't sleep very well. I try to exercise a lot. I go on very, very long walks.
It's beautiful, but it is windy. We're fighting this wind for about an hour. Getting tired of it. Come on, time for the wind to stop. Stop!
Trying to get people to hear these stories and be a voice for my voiceless clients.
Well, you're leaving a huge legacy and huge footsteps to follow in. Thank you so much, Justin.
Go exploring abroad with Google Arts and Culture. Discover the Grammy Museum online and investigate an app that encourages you to just chill. All this up next on Things to Do.
Google Arts and Culture is a free museum platform that takes you to cultural sites around the world, virtually. The platform offers an array of historical, contemporary, and interactive experiences. Take a virtual tour of the National Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art in Seoul, or the J. Paul Getty Center in Los Angeles. Explore Art Selfie, where computer algorithms match your face to artworks throughout history. Explore London street art. Google Arts and Culture offers a new adventure around the world every day. Visit artsandculture.google.com. Even before COVID-19, the Grammy Museum has been online, engaged in its commitment to bringing the joy of music to all reaches of the community. Every Sunday and Tuesday, music education lessons and activities are released, with topics ranging from electronic music production to music of the civil rights movement. The Grammy Museum will also make never-before-released content from the Grammy Museum archives available to the public. Each day will spotlight a different pillar of the museum's mission. There's lots to learn and enjoy with new content launched regularly. Visit GrammyMuseum.org. With most of us staying home, it can be even harder to unplug from the world. One way to make sure that you avoid or relieve stress is with the meditation app, Calm. The app Calm is a free resource with programs to help with your emotional and mental wellness. Sessions include breathing and visualization. There are sessions for individual or family exercising. Best of all, you can do it anywhere. Check out the meditation app Calm by visiting calm.com/blog/take a deep breath. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.
Here at Channel 35, we stay committed to bringing you the best information possible during the COVID-19 outbreak. Remember that you can sign up with Notify LA to receive emergency alerts. To sign up, just text your zip code to 888-777. You can also find reliable information about the resources available from the City of Los Angeles at these websites: publichealth.lacounty.gov, coronavirus.lacity.org, or at emergency.lacity.org. That's it for this edition. I'm Saida Pagan. From all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. See you next time for more LA This Week.